I'm Steve Schmidt, President of Frederick Air in Frederick, Maryland, and Chairman of the Board for ACCA. It's the middle of the summer, and I bet a lot of contractors are wishing they had more techs and installers to help reach the growing number of customers looking to get their air conditioning fixed or replaced. Well, there's a lot of good news to report from ACCA's lobbying work on workforce issues. I think it's great that ACCA has been leading the charge. Congress recently went on its 5-week district work period, but before they went back to their districts, they passed legislation that is critical to our nation's workforce needs. After more than a year of ACCA negotiating with senators, Congress passed legislation to reauthorize funding for our nation's career and technology education programs. This is a $1.2 billion program that includes some important updates that will help ACCA members find qualified workers. Partly due to ACCA's negotiations, this funding program includes more flexibility in technical education programs, which will ensure they can focus on in-demand job opportunities like those in our industry. States will no longer need to get approval from bureaucrats in Washington if they want to make changes to their trade programs offered in their states. This is a big win for ACCA, but contractors can't rest on their laurels now. Contractors will need to step up in their communities and make sure their trade schools tap into this funding opportunity and focus on the HVAC industry. As the saying goes, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. If you want the schools in your area to focus on HVAC training, then you need to make sure that they understand that there's a need in your community. In fact, I've been a very squeaky wheel in Frederick County, Maryland. And I'm proud to say that I'm one of the few contractors who doesn't have a workforce problem. Years ago, I inserted myself into the local business advisory board for our local career tech high school and community college program. There's one in your community, guaranteed. The plumbing and HVAC program didn't even include HVAC, just plumbing. It took a few years, but when the teacher decided to move on, I made sure that the new instructor was able to focus on HVAC and not plumbing. It takes time and energy to create these changes, but it's one of the most important investments that a contractor can make. Certainly, the most impactful one I made. If you'd like to know how I did it, just shoot me an email and I'd be happy to tell you how I did it. I end up talking to a lot of parents and educators. Here's a few tips that I find helpful when talking to them. Bring numbers with you, like how much a technician can make working for your company and the cost of attending a technical education program. Then compare those salaries and educational costs to careers that require a 4-year degree. You should also reach out to ACCA if you're going to visit schools in your area. ACCA has pop-up banners, recruiting materials, lesson plans for educators, and other items that will help you. Lastly, bring some good swag with you, like screwdrivers, coffee mugs, tool pouches, other leave-behinds. Everyone loves good swag, so make sure you have it handy. The bottom line, if you insert yourself in your local community, you will become known as a friend of the school system, and you will see your workforce development problems slowly melt away, and soon you will become an employer of choice. Talk to you next week.